Shalom, shalom. I'm going to start off this video giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Shem Yahweh Shabbat, Shem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of the great millstone that rule well, teach well, while learning truth 100% according to the Bible. I also want to say shalom to the elect, the 144,000 men, prophets, servants scattered abroad the four corners of the earth, and shalom to you, Akwaf, which are you few sisters that are sincere and your children, shalom. And in today's video, as you can see, is going to be building off of this video that I got here from this guy. And as you can see, it said invasion, mob strikes Chicago, jail frontline, Marine ignores judge, smash illegals, man. You see, so ultimately you see that a lot of things are happening here in this place, Babylon the Great. You see the sedition in this place, the people against the government is constantly continuing to brew day by day. Things in this place are just continuing to get worse. And ultimately, that's because Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah is done with this place, America, man. So, only thing we're going to continue to see happening in this country is things escalating, things getting worse than what we ultimately see happening now. Because like I said, this place, Babylon the Great, America has ran this course. The Lord is getting ready to judge this place, man. And we're seeing the beginning stages of it now with everything that's happening in this country. Because we know ultimately what the scriptures say, right? I'm going to grab this. This is St. Matthew chapter 12. And I'm going to start at verse 25, but I'm going to read it in the NLT. It says, Yahweh Shah knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed, right? And ultimately, we see everything that's happening here in Babylon. You see the great America with everything that's happening between how these Egyptians are rising against these Egyptians. You see these Edomites fighting against these Edomites. We see everything that's happening with the ICE raids. You see, and people uproaring about that. So, I mean, everything in this place, America, is ultimately leading to a civil war, man, which will happen. You see, that's part of prophecy. You see, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah says in the book of St. Matthew 10 and 34, to think not that I'm come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. So the Lord bringing destruction, man, division, chaos. And that's ultimately what we see ultimately unfolding here in Babylon the Great, man. And it's getting worse day by day, right? And it's only going to continue to get worse, you see. But I'm going to actually get back to it. This is where I left off at in the book of Matthew 12, and I'm going to read verse 25 again. It says, Yahweh Shah knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. A town or a family splintered by feuding will fall apart, right? You got all of these Edomites fighting against each other. You see all of these MAGA, proud Trump supporters that ultimately voted for this devil. You see, and now they see that this man is not coming through on all of the promises that he made to them. So you got a lot of people that voted for this man. They're against him now. So everything in this country is just completely divided, man. You see, and that's ultimately going to lead to this place's downfall, man. Right? Because as it says, I'm going to finish reading verse 26. It said, and if Satan is casting out Satan, he is divided and fighting against himself. His own kingdom will not survive. You see, and that's what we see happening. This place, America, is on his last leg, man. This place is through. You see, and like I said, that's because ultimately we're at the end, man, of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man ruling the earth in wickedness. You see, this man's power is coming to an end, and that's what we're witnessing right in front of our faces. You see, that's why things is only continuing to get worse here in Babylon. You see, and I'm actually look up that word sedition, you see, on Chat GPT, and I typed it in. I said, what is sedition? And it says sedition refers to action, speech, or behavior intended to incite rebellion or resistance against lawful authority, typically a government or ruling power. In simpler terms, is when people work together to stir up unrest or encourage others to defy or overthrow leadership. And that's what you're going to see these people here in Babylon doing. We see it happening already on a small scale. But like I said, things is going to continue to escalate. You see, things is going to continue to get worse. You see, what does it say in Matthew 24 and 12? And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Right. Cold in the Greek means psycho. So more people are going to get, more unhinged, you see, as time goes on, man. The more these people see this society and this place collapse, the more they see things get harder in here in this country than it already is now. The more you're going to see people behave more erratically, more chaotic, you see. And it says, I'm going to finish reading. It says, it's when people work together to stir up unrest or encourage others to defy or to overthrow leadership. Right. And I'm going to go down. It says key point. Sedition means conduct or language that incites rebellion against the authority of a state. Right. And it says implies that this is happening within a group, individuals influencing or inciting each other, man. And that's what we see happening in this place, Babylon, man. You see all of these people inciting each other, ultimately to come up against the government. You see to come up against ICE, to come up against all of these other different things that they deem, that's not helping them or benefiting them. I mean, and ultimately, like I said, this is all going to lead to civil unrest, man, civil wars. That's what's coming to this place, America. As it says right here, I'm going to grab this. This is Isaiah chapter 19, and I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, the burden of Egypt, right? This is spiritually Sodom and Egypt, which is America. It says, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, which is a chariot, and shall come into Egypt, right? And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it, right? Verse 2, it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, you American people, man, right? It says, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom, man. And that's what we see in the beginning stages befalling upon his country, man. You see? Verse 3, it says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards, right? Verse 4, it says, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of the cruel Lord, right? And that's talking about Donald Trump, man, Nero coming back in reincarnation. And we see everything that this man Trump is doing is ultimately setting the stage for chaos to unfold in this country, man. Because ultimately, like I said, everybody is against everything this man is doing. Why you think you got these no king protests and all of these different types of things that are ultimately happening here in this country? You see, none of these things are happening by coincidence, man. These things are happening because, like I said, this place America is at its end and it reached its limit. You see, and this place is getting ready to go down, man. Yahweh Shem Yahushua is about to bring this place down miserably, and it's going to go down by violence. Just as the way this place was established on violence is going to go down by violence. You see? So I'm going to read it again. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of the cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. So you see, that's why you ultimately got these people behaving in the manners that they're behaving because of everything that this cruel Lord Trump is doing, man. And like I said, people are at the point now where they're fed up to where now they just ready to take matters into their own hands. And this is going to become the norm in this place, America, man. Just chaos, man. You see? So I'm going to get straight into the video so we can ultimately, see what it is that the guy's talking about and what's going on. Because like I said, a lot of things are happening. Things are heating up, you see. And the Lord is allowing these things to happen because, like I said, we're in that time, man, of all of these things unfolding and coming to pass, just as the men of the Lord have been prophesying and warning you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians of. We've been telling you that things in this country is going to get worse, man, right? And that ultimately this place is at its end, you see. So we're going to get into the video. Fair use under the 1976 Copyright Act. I'm not getting paid for this video. This is only for educational purposes only. Fair use.
Chicago mobs are attacking their local ICE facility, but they can't get past state police. Oh! Time to go! These look like Antifa people. Wow! If you touch me, you'll go to jail! Oh, that's right. Touch and go to jail. That's what these guys did. Wow! This is ridiculous. Oh, even the cameraman. Oh, this is an all-day thing. Whether it's morning, whether it's evening, look, they won't move. And now
right. And we ultimately got a gist of everything that we see happening just for the little bit of the video I allowed to play. And I'm going to actually get back into it, but I'm going to grab another precept because, like I said, what we ultimately see, this is that sedition among men, man. Right? I'm going to grab 2nd Esdras chapter 15, right? And I'm going to start at verse 16. I'm going to get straight to the point. It says, for there should be sedition among men, right? We looked that word up earlier. It says, and invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes. And this is what you see these American people doing. They're not regarding the police. They're not regarding the government. They're not regarding these ICE agents, not the National Guard. And eventually, like I said, it's only a matter of time till Yahweh Shem Yahushua put the spirit on these Babylonians to react to where they're ultimately going to start fighting back against the government. You see, it's only a matter of time, you see, because this is what everything is leading to, So it says, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Right. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Because ultimately, Esau, Edom wants these people to react. You see, pressure from above, pressure from below. You see, they want these things to happen so they can ultimately, be justified in bringing in the order out of the chaos that's going to be happening, man. Ultimately, for these devils to try to establish their new world order, they need this violence and these different things to take place. So they know it's only going to be, one little event or something that takes place next that's ultimately going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. And eventually these people are just going to be to the point where they done had enough. And they're going to, like I said, take matters into their own hands. That's coming. Right? So it says, I'm going to read it again, verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Guess what? Martial law, man. That's what's coming to America. You see, martial law, 15-minute smart cities, military checkpoints. That's what these devils are all trying to establish. That's what they're trying to, set the foundation for. You see, that's why they need this chaos, man. They need it. Verse 18, it says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Because ultimately, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is the one that's bringing these plagues and all of these bad times upon this place, America. Because like I said, this place has ran its course. We're at the end of this place, man. So the Lord is ultimately going to allow these things to take place. You see? So I'm going to get back into the video so we can just finish continuing watching. You see? But like I said, we are in that time and season, brothers and sisters, where things is only going to continue to escalate and to get worse.
Brutality. They will not move. They are too busy holding their Mexican flag in the roadway to obey lawful commands. This is ridiculous. Wow. Look at them. They won't go in the designated protest zones. They won't obey. They just want to see all the fugitives in this place get released. Yeah, they're waving the Mexican flag higher now. Oh, yep, he's getting arrested now too. Touch the police, go to jail. That's how it works. That's how this works. Like it or not. Oh, look at this woman in the pink. Oh, she's going crazy over there. Oh, who are they pulling out of this protest zone? They're pulling someone out who must have assaulted law enforcement. And it looks like they got Lady Liberty herself, who is now a captive for committing crimes. Look at these.
Right. And we see it. And like I said, man, everything that we see ultimately playing out is leading to civil war, man. That's what's coming for America. You see, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 13. And I'm going to start at verse 29. It says, behold, the day is come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth. That's the elect. Right. Verse 30. It says, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. Verse 31, and one shall undertake to fight against another, right? One city against another, one place against another, one people against another, one realm against another, right? This is what's coming. You see, ultimately to the world, but you see, especially here to this place, Babylon the Great. All of these things are coming to this country, man. You see, just complete chaos. And like I said, that's because we're at the end, right? What does it say right here? I'm going to grab 2nd Ezra chapter 9, right? And we're going to start at verse 1. And it says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, right? And you measure the time diligently by looking at the prophecies, seeing what they say and aligning it with what's happening in the earth. And we see everything that the Lord said will be happening in the latter times. We see these things occurring, man. Everything that Lord Yahushua told to his disciples at the time. You see in the book of St. Matthew 24, you see St. Mark chapter 13, Luke chapter 21. You see all of those tokens that he left for what will be happening in the end. We see them happening now. So that's how we're able to know where we're at, you see, in prophecy, right? It says, and when thou seest parts of the signs past, which I have told thee before, right? Verse 2, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And that's the time we in, where Yahweh Shem Yahushua is about to judge the earth, which he made. And he's about to bring all of this chaos and all of this confusion, all of these different evils, man. You see? Verse 3, it says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, and that's what you see happening. Right, all around the world in these various different countries, you got people uproaring ultimately about, the things that their government is doing, and people are fed up, man. But like I said, the Lord is the one that's putting the spirit on these people to behave in the way that they're behaving. Right. It tells you that in Proverbs 20 and verse 24. It says, man's goings are of the Lord. How can a man then understand his own way? So the Lord is the one that got people acting and reacting and behaving in the manner that they're, ultimately behaving in. Because like I said, it's all going according to prophecy, man. Right. So I'm going to read verse 3 again. Therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes, which are occurring, right, worldwide in diverse places, right, and uproars of the people in the world, all these different protests that you have happening throughout the earth. You see with all of these wars that are going on and etc. Here in America, you see, hey, things are just speaking loud and clear what time we're in, man. Verse 4, it says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning, right? Because ultimately, when the beginning was made, the ending was already declared as well. So we're ultimately just playing out the ending here in our time, but it was already, written from the beginning, man, right? That's Isaiah 46:10. It says, declaring the end from the beginning. And from ancient times, the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure. And this is what we see unfolding before our eyes, the counsel of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua, right? Verse 5, it says, for like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. And like I said, that's where we're at. Right, we're at the end, man. You see the end of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man ruling the earth, man. This man's power structure, you see his queendom is coming to an end, man. And we're watching it happen in front of our eyes. You see, that's why you're only going to continue to see chaos, you see, and uproars worldwide, but, mainly here in Babylon and Great America. You're going to continue to see things get worse. You're going to continue to see these people get worse. And you're going to continue to see this government, you see these devils behave more and more sinister, man. Right? Because like I said, we're at the end. So these things are happening, man, according to prophecy. Right. But I'm actually get back into the video. We're going to watch a little bit more of it. Right. But like I said, this is going to be the norm for this place, America. Just complete chaos, man. You see, and we see these things happening now in just a handful of cities. But like I said, soon this is going to be all Babylon. All of America is going to be like this, where you got people just fighting against the government, people just looting, stealing, all of this different type of madness. Hey, this is going to be the norm, right?
People trying to jump into the protest zone after they've been instigating with law enforcement all day. Oh, they're pulling somebody else out, too. Who's this? Ooh. Oh, so now they're throwing water bottles? That's awful, man. This crowd is hostile. This ain't peace. Oh, who's this? It's Rudolph, the red-nosed rioter. Boy, we got every Halloween character, even Christmas-themed ones out here. Look at this person. What a clown. She's going to go to jail. They're not letting her go. She's assaulted officers, just like this individual. You guys can beat your drums all you want. Federal fugitives in the country illegally, they're going to get deported. And these individuals, these agitators, they need to be hit with the book, man. They think they can just do this and then go about their lives. The problem is they just won't leave. That's why you have all these folks getting...
Right. So like I said, man, we see everything that's happening in the video, and I'm going to grab one more precept because like I said, this place, America, is done, man. Through, no hope for this place. Right. Only thing coming for this place is destruction. Right. This is St. Mark chapter 3. Right. And it's basically the same precept I read earlier in Matthew 12, but we're going to just pull it out in Mark. Right. And I'm going to start at verse 23. It says, and he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? Right. Verse 24, and if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand, right? And this place, America, is divided against itself, you see. Like I said, you got governors, suing the president, vice versa. You got the president threatening to lock up governors that are not ultimately listening to him, you see. So, I mean, everything in this place is in shambles, right? Verse 25, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. The house of Edom is divided. These Edomites are fighting against each other for power. You see all type of different madness just going on, man. Right. Verse 26, it said, and if Satan rise up against himself, right, and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end. And like I said, this is what we see ultimately, taking place in front of our eyes, man. We're watching the end and the downfall of this man's queendom, right? So, that's pretty much everything I had to say with today's video. Lord's willing, I pray it be edifying, you see, to you brothers and you few sisters that may come across it. With that being said, to the next time, I'm going to say shalom to the elect. Shalom. America is through, man.